beautiful, nice and cool. Jack, let's move that up. Hopefully no one will be chatting.
Very good.
All right, good morning Queensland and good morning Rockhampton. Well, it's wonderful to be in Rockhampton today, and we've got a few significant announcements. The first one, of course, is we have ministers right across Queensland involved in our regional forums, and it was wonderful to drop in and to meet the members of the forum and talk to them about the issues that they are dealing with across the region. So it was lovely to do that. But today we have a very significant announcement for Rockhampton, and of course it's about these rocky rail yards. And we said during the election that the Queensland government was adamant about purchasing these rail yards to make them back into Queensland government hands, and I'm very pleased to say that today that contract is completed. And what we know is that we want to use these yards here, this huge 21-hectare site, for supply chain when it comes to our rail manufacturing in Queensland. Of course, the rail manufacturing itself will be happening in Bruce Saunders' electorate of Maryborough, but we've seen the Cross River Rail tunnels being completed down in Brisbane. The trains will be manufactured, of course, in Rockhampton, in Maryborough, around the Maryborough region. But we need the supply chain, and the supply chain will be coming, of course, from areas such as Rockhampton, and this area will be put to very, very good use. So we promised that we would secure the contract, and we have, and that means jobs for this region. Hundreds, if not thousands of jobs across the whole region for the supply chain of manufacturing. Also too, we're looking at hydrogen and the use of hydrogen in trains as well. So Minister Bailey will talk a little bit more about that. But this is a huge site. It's going to be put to very, very good use, and I know that both Barry and Brittany have been instrumental in making sure that this was once again in government hands. So I'll hand over to Minister Bailey, then you'll hear from everyone else, and then we're happy to take some questions. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Prem. Look, really exciting to be here in Rocky with the Premier, with our members Barry O'Rourke, Brittany Lauger, our Assistant Minister Bruce Saunders, and of course the Mayor as well. This site's vast, 21-hectare site, coming back into public hands by the Palaszczuk Labor government. What we want to see here is a lot of manufacturing jobs in the rail sector, and what we'll be doing is putting out an EOI next month in June, wanting an industry to work with us, to collaborate with us, to be part of those possibilities. What we could see here is rail supply chain jobs along the lines of air conditioning units, seating, the pantographs. There's all sorts of things that can be manufactured here that goes into that rail supply chain. And while we know that there's 75 trains ordered and will be built by Queensland workers in Maryborough, we want the different things that make up those trains to come from regional Queensland as well. And beyond that, of course, we're seeing huge population growth in Queensland. So it's not just about this 75 trains coming on, it's the trains that will come after that, because we'll have to keep adding to that. But I think this government's committed to Queensland workers making Queensland things. And the process here will be the EOIs will know some of the successful EOI proponents in September, and then we're expecting people to be moving into site either late this year or early next year. So once again, this what has been the heart of manufacturing here in Rockhampton and this region will be revitalised and be a thriving site, and it's a very exciting announcement here today. I'll just hand over to Bruce Saunders, our Assistant Minister for Train Manufacturing. Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Premier, Mayor of Rockhampton. Two great local members, Barry O'Rourke and Brittany Lauger from Keppel. Look, this is exciting news for Queensland, and I'm proud to be part of a government that's reinvesting in regional Queensland. I said this yesterday at the Cross River Rail Tunnel. These trains are going to be maroon trains. They're going to be the supply chain networks throughout Queensland. And to be part of a government that's reinvesting back in regional Queensland, putting rail manufacturing back at Torbanley, in the Maryborough electorate, Rockhampton, other parts around the state, is a proud moment. And it's one of the things that this government's done since 2015 is that we're getting the skill base back in regional Queensland, reinvesting in regional Queensland, so the young people can do their apprentices, they can stay here, raise a family, stay in regional Queensland, so they don't have to move away. But this facility here is an integral part of the rail manufacturing, the $7 billion program that this government is investing in. And this is great news for Central Queensland, but it's also the hard work of the two local members here. Barry O'Rourke and Brittany Lorga from Keppel have worked very hard to make sure that this facility is reused again. And the Premier and the Minister, rail this is a Queensland project. And we call it at Torbanley the Maroon Project. It's the Maroon trains because there's parts and manufacturing happening right around Queensland, and that's what a good government does. They make sure that no one gets left behind, and that's what's happening with this rail infrastructure project.
How great is this announcement for Rockhampton? Rocky has always been a rail town, and I'm so pleased to be part of a government that is reinvesting into rail infrastructure and manufacturing. Here we'll be part of the supply chain. There is so many opportunities, particularly for our young people with apprenticeships and things like that into the future, and I'm so proud to be part of a government investing in regional Queensland.
Good morning, everyone. Brittany Keppel. We're happy to take that, Ms. Keppel. It's great to be here with the Premier and everyone this morning to announce that these railway workshops will be back in public hands. And of course, I was here back when Horizon announced the closure of these workshops. It was a sad day for Rocky, but it's the Palaszczuk government that we stood here at the 2020 election. We made the commitment to bring these sites back to life. And here we are delivering on that commitment from the 2020 election to bring these workshops back to life, to grow rail manufacturing jobs again in Central Queensland. And I know, can I congratulate the member for Rockhampton, Barry O'Rourke, on his advocacy to breathe new life back into these workshops. It's a great day for Rocky and it's a great day for rail manufacturing.
Tony Williams, Mayor Rockhampton Regional Council. Fantastic to be here this morning. This is a historic day for Rockhampton, and I'd like to offer my thanks to the Premier for delivering on her commitment to breathe life back into these rail yards. It was something there that our town really suffered from with the closure of the yards and the employment and the work and the long history with the rail network in Rockhampton. To see this supply chain opportunity coming forward and life coming back into this facility is something there that really is an historic day, and I'd like to pay tribute to all our Barry O'Rourke, the local member, Brittany, Bruce and Mark as well, because it's without that team effort and the Palaszczuk government for the work that's been undertaken to bring it to this point, it really is something there that we do want to acknowledge and accept, and really happy, and I think it's I'd have to be one of the happiest mayors in Queensland today hearing this announcement, so it's just going to mean so much to our community and really a shot in the arm on a number of the other projects that's occurring in our region going forward. So on that, I'll wrap it up and take it from there. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We're happy to take some questions about this first.
How soon will work start here?
I think we're hoping to see some work starting at the end of this year, but a lot of work's got to happen now until then, but we're very pleased that we've actually been able to secure this site. It's going to be jobs and more jobs for this region, and you've got a committed team here, including the state government and the local government, that wants to see the heart of train manufacturing and train supply back in regional Queensland.
How many jobs and who exactly are you looking for?
There's going to be hundreds, so we'll be working out exactly the types of jobs, but we're looking at, the Minister Bailey said, heating, ventilating, air conditioning. There could be some interiors, glass and glass reinforced plastic, cabling and cabinets, communication systems. So this is a big site, there's a big opportunity, and it's going to be big jobs for Rocky.
Will the government greenlight the new Acland expansion?
Okay, so we're moving on to other questions now, I'm assuming. Any other Rockhampton questions?
I was actually going to say, will these be local jobs?
We want to see as many local jobs as possible. This is a great opportunity for this region. We know that people are moving to the regions, and this is going to mean that they can live, work and stay here and raise their family. So it's a great day for Rockhampton, and we said we were going to do it, and we have delivered on our election commitment.
On Rockhampton, the opposition leader is also here today speaking about ambulance ramping. He says it's soaring to frightening new levels at Rockhampton and Gladstone hospitals. What's your response to that?
What I can say very clearly is my government takes these issues, every health issue, very, very seriously. And that's why we are working meticulously in putting together a package that will be announced in our budget. We already have around $200 million, our Care for Queensland strategy, which is looking at, of course, increasing some of our immediate bed capacity. But I think every Queenslander knows that our hospitals have been under pressure and stretched because we've been dealing with COVID, now influenza, but also too, we've had a lot of staff off sick, and my advice is that around 50 staff are currently off sick at the moment from the Rockhampton Hospital due to a combination of whether it's COVID or whether it's influenza. Can I please also too encourage the residents around the Rockhampton, Gladstone and also the Central Queensland, Wide Bay region, in fact all of regional Queensland, to please go and get your free flu vaccination. We know we're going to be getting a big influenza A season. It's already started early. It's having an impact, of course, on our health system. So please, everyone, go and get your free influenza vaccine, your free flu jab. It's available at your pharmacist, and it's also available, of course, at your GPs. Okay, now we might move on to any other issues.
So will the government now greenlight the new outcome expansion following the latest Coordinator General's report?
Well, the Coordinator General is working through those issues, and of course the government is working through those issues, the different departments, and of course normal processes will be followed just as they are with any other application.
How soon could a decision be made?
That's a matter up to the departments. I don't get involved in those decisions, nor should I.
And will you be rethinking your position on progressing new coal projects, given the fact the Greens have claimed 3 federal seats here in Brisbane, and it's clear people want genuine action on climate change?
Well, when it comes to climate change, it's the Labor government that actually implements climate change. We know that a progressive Labor government can do both. We look at jobs across all industries, but also to jobs in renewables. And the irony of all of this is most of the jobs that are happening now in our renewable energy industry are happening across regional Queensland. And it's been the LNP that has been against jobs for regional Queensland when it comes to renewables.
Can Queensland meet its 2030 emissions reduction target if it is approving coal expansions?
Look, we're working through all of those issues. We now have a federal Labor government that is committed to action on climate change. We've seen the agricultural industries, we've seen our mining industries, and of course we've seen business all looking at climate change, and now we have a federal government that also embraces climate change. So I'm looking forward to working with, and I love saying this, the Albanese Labor government to put in place key reforms when it comes to climate change, but also to when it comes to sitting down and talking about health. And I'm looking forward to when we have the first National Cabinet meeting of sitting down with all the other state leaders as well as the Prime Minister to discuss health reform, especially when health was not on the agenda, even allowed to go on the agenda under the former Prime Minister Scott Morrison.
When will Labor announce its candidate for Callide?
Over the coming days. Yep.
And lastly from me, are you annoyed that the Gabba has lost the first test?
Well, they're working through all of those issues at the moment, and I might leave that to the Sports Minister to make further comments. But I know Queenslanders love their cricket, and there will definitely be a test played at the Gabba. And we all love cricket, especially in December, so we'll let those negotiations happen behind closed doors. Okay?
If I could just get your response as well, the Tamil family now packing their bags, getting ready to go back to Billawheeler. How welcome do you think they'll be when they return home?
I'm quite sure that Billawheeler will have a warm welcome for this family. The family has been there for many years, and my understanding is they work in the meatworks there as well. So much needed workforce added by this family. Anyway, I'll leave it to the locals, but I think I think most of Australia would be very happy with this decision. I know it's been a topic of conversation. People have been speaking to me about it over the weekend, and I think it's the right thing that has been happening, that is being done here. Okay, thank you.